This is our next episode of our series, Unmasking the Abuser. In this series, we're trying to explore why does domestic abuse happen? Why does violence happen from one spouse to the other? Why does someone who says, I love you to you, ends up beating you up violently? Why does, like in the case of a woman, why does a man who's so gentle with you before marriage turns violent after marriage, after a certain period of marriage? So many marriages are breaking. Divorce has a pretty high rate. The concept of falling in love and loving someone are two different things, as we do understand. Many movies promote this falling in love concept, where a person cannot do without the other person. So the abuses happen because of certain learned behavior and other factors. So I requested Dr. Aninda Sidhana, a psychiatrist from Rajasthan, to further enlighten us as to why physical abuse happens in marriages and relationships.
Hello. So I was asked by Mahesh, my friend, like, Ananda, what do you think are the psychological causes that can make man so violent and abusive towards his own wife? So I thought, yeah, it's such a sad state. Like, intimate partner violence is a prevalent problem. Every minute, at least four women they are being slapped, kicked, verbally abused. And what can be the reason that love, marriage, which is such a pious relationship, that love becomes a weapon, and what is happening behind the closed doors, nobody knows. So, being a psychiatrist and as a human being, and also when I was asked by Mahesh, I actually thought, like, yeah, I really wonder what happens to a man that he becomes so violent and what can be the causes behind it. So it is not one cause, or it cannot be defined in one thing. Like, so let me tell you, like, it is like a story about a ghost. It is like a ghost which is, as ghost you have heard, like they haunt the houses at night, they come and haunt. So it is like, it is a ghost who does not haunt houses, it haunts the hearts. Initially they are so charming, but at times they become like a ghost, they haunt their heart, and we wonder what happened, why he became so violent. And this ghost is basically the result of the childhood neglect, his own insecurities. He is being haunted by his own insecurities, own low self esteem, and the ingrained need to control the another person in the relationship, and also the ingrained patriarchal beliefs and the learned behavior which this ghost might have seen during his own childhood. So we should, like, help this ghost instead of blaming, I guess. So let's delve into the causes which can cause a man to become so violent that he becomes abusive towards his own wife. Like, love becomes a weapon. And like, I saw a reel recently. A question was asked, what do you think is the most dangerous animal? And answer was man. Yes, definitely. Man is the most dangerous animal. Like, I'm not only talking about a man, it can be a woman also.
Yes, man is the most dangerous creature on earth. You think of any other creature on earth, any other animal, bird, insect. Is anyone involved in destroying the earth? Is anyone the cause of climate change, the sea levels rising? Is anyone responsible for destroying the forest? Is anyone, any other creature responsible for pollution, the sea pollution, the river pollution, the water pollution? It's the man, the human beings. So this thing, man is the most dangerous creature on earth, is absolutely true. I agree with you.
but still in this case man is the most dangerous animal. So the various causes which we can see is, first of all, let me give example. Like there's a child maybe called Ravi, who has seen his father is beating the wife, beating his mother. His mother is being silenced on every thought, on every talk, whatever she tries to say, she's being silenced, and he feels like, yes, this is the only way to control the wife, and my father is doing right. So, what is the fault Ravi has? So, this boy, Ravi, who has seen the violence going around in his own house, his mother being silenced, in his own marriage, he will believe like he will be respected and treated like a king only when he is beating his own wife, or only when he is shouting, he is executing his power. So, this is a social learning theory or a learned behavior, which is very important cause of intimate partner violence.
Learned behavior. Yes, children born in a family where the father and mother are well behaved and conduct themselves in a loving way, and whenever they have arguments, they do it away from the children. Here, children grow up in a more harmonious way, and children do not learn the negative behavior patterns where the parents have to have arguments and fights, but they do it separately. So the child grows up in a more harmonious environment. When a child is an adult, he or she gets married, they try to pass on that harmony. So yes, learned behavior plays a very important role, and we have to teach parents to sort of hide their fights or their arguments from the children because of the welfare and upbringing of the children.
So now let's come to the second cause, which like this ghost is being itself being haunted by that cause, that is his own insecurities, the insecure attachment style. He has his in the childhood, say a boy called Vikram or Deepak has been neglected during his childhood. Parents didn't have time, and he believed like he had developed this fear of abandonment, and then he believed if he tries to manipulate, control, and exert his power by control, then only he can get the love. So, this insecure attachment style, his own low self esteem, causes the violence.
Insecurity, yes. So sometimes men sort of just have to show their forcefulness to prove himself superior to himself. And many men are told that if he can't control his wife, he is not strong enough. He is not a man. So he goes around trying to do some kind of abusive or some kind of strong arm methods to control his wife, so as to prove himself superior to himself, because he feels insecure. He wants to prove himself secure, so he tries to do that.
And then third, which we see is like, let's take the example. Uh, Not only the example, it's basically it is seen. It is an invisible power dynamics that's happening everywhere, in especially in Indian matrimonials, Indian families. That it's a invisible power dynamics. It's just like a man is dominating his wife in a marriage, and wife being submissive. So it's invisible power dynamics. We talk about the mutuality, but still at times the dominant behavior, the need to control, the power, and this coercive control and need causes the violence.
Patriarchy, of course, is the causes of that, as being a man meant showing your power. And it was not about keeping your power inside, it was about showing your power in some communities. So yes, that is a point.
And then there is the very bad patriarchal norms. Like, I am a man, I have to be aggressive, I am strong. If I don't get angry, then how will I be man? I will not be respected. And everybody says, be a man, yaar, which is like not right. That's the toxic masculinity. Even our media that keeps on glorifying these men with which are staring with like eyes like bloody eyes, and also even like men don't cry. Men are taught like if they cry or they become weak, they are taught to be vulnerable. They will be vulnerable, they will not be respected, which is wrong. If you respect your wife, तुम जोरू का गुलाम नहीं बन रहे हो. And a man who raises a hand to a woman is no longer a man. So it is a character is defined by that. He should be humble. And another cause, like definitely this toxic masculinity, jo, uh, which has been going since long generations. Be a man, yaar. Just control your wife. Why are you listening to her? Why are you asking her where are you going? And once if she stops you from drinking and driving or even drinking, you will raise your hand and become a man. Who said this is right way?
Like in some ancient societies, and even today in certain communities, men are tasked to do certain difficult jobs, maybe climbing a mountain. And there are also communities where men were tasked to go and hunt a boar, kill a tiger, kill a leopard to prove his manhood. So this used to be a ritual in certain communities in ancient times where the boy had to sometimes fight with the wrestler. So that's proving that a boy has become a man was given some kind of a ritualistic status in some communities.
Then many a time substance abuse is a factor which actually increases the violence. Sometimes wife does not even know that a husband is taking cannabis or alcohol causes the man to become violent, and the next day he will say I forgot. So substance abuse disorders.
Substance abuse also happens. I know the story of one particular person. This person, I've known him, and his son reached marriageable age, and he fell in love with a girl and he wanted to marry her. But the girl happened to be of a different caste and community, so this man's family, quite well-to-do family, refused the boy and didn't allow him to get married to this particular girl. So the boy was heartbroken. He started taking some kind of drugs and he became an addict. Now the father felt, एक बार शादी हो जाएगी तो सब ठीक हो जाएगा. So the father, this man, he went around looking for suitable girls for his son and eventually found one, and he got his son married to her. The days that followed the marriage, the girl came to know about this boy taking those particular drugs. And when he took his drugs, he wanted to be quiet, not communicate much, and if you disturbed him, he used to get violent. So in that process, he hit her when she tried to speak to him in his diffuse drug state. So this hitting went on for a number of days, and then she decided to break the marriage and go to her parents' house, and eventually divorce happened. But here the thing was, since this boy was in love with the girl and his parents had refused to marry him off because of the intercaste issue, and he felt depressed, he felt heartbroken, he started taking this particular drug to give himself some kind of calmness. So he became an addict. So yes, this is also another cause of domestic violence and abuse.
Then sometimes parents only, they don't tell about the psychiatric illness, and later on they will say we thought शादी के बाद ठीक हो जाएगा. We women are not the rehabilitation centers to raise your men. So please, if he is on treatment, just tell, we will support in treating them. So the mental illnesses can be the cause of the violence.
Mental illness is another very serious issue. If parents know the child has got some kind of mental illness, so it's very important to consider this if the child's marriage is to be fixed in the arranged fashion. So will the girl he's marrying, or all the details about this boy should be told to the girl, because later on if she finds his behavior pattern shockingly abnormal, that would create a shock for her and it could lead to very, very sad consequences.
So I think we should delve deeper into the causes of the domestic violence so that we can prevent it. And also, raising our men right is the most important factor.
There's another manhood thing that is taught to boys. You remember the angry young man image that was shown in the old Amitabh Bachchan movies? The angry young man, where you had to be a man only if you're angry. If you get angry, then you're a man. You don't get angry, then you're not a man. That was the thing taught to the boys at a certain point in time. And even today, there are movies which teach that angry young man image as, as the very identification of being masculine. So that anger, if it is promoted, and so the man uses this particular excuse to hit a weaker person or hit his wife.
Now, not only the learned experience, childhood experiences, and substance abuse are the only factors of the violence. The another major factor is the emotional dysregulation or being not being emotionally intelligent. So imagine like a pressure cooker. Um, a man is like a pressure cooker, and there are so many emotions inside him getting heated up: anger, injustice, then hatred, then being suppressed, and in the end heat keeps on getting accumulated and then it blasts in the form of anger. So what is the right way? Right way is like to teach them to express the emotions. So men are not taught to express their emotions. In our society, everywhere it's being taught, be a man, yeah, don't cry, don't talk about it. And once we start teaching the emotional regulation, and once a man starts regulating his own emotions and expressing it time to time, this anger, the stage will not only come that pressure cooker blasts, so we can control that. And yeah, good news is emotional intelligence can be built. We can take the courses, the workshops by teaching men and women both. Even these days, females also, like they also don't know how to regulate the emotions. At times, they suddenly blast out of anger, and this emotional dysregulation definitely affects the relationships in both the ways. At times there can be provocation also from the female, which can be a cause of emotional dysregulation because she doesn't know how to regulate the emotions or control her emotions. And this continuous pestering can cause the anger kept on building up in a man. So imbalance सा हो जाता है ना. So that becomes, and this, so emotional intelligence is very important, and I think schools should make it as a part of curriculum, then corporate sectors, and we can help building the workshops for building up emotional intelligence and helping people regulate emotions, which is very important. So yes, the important message is like we should not be afraid of this ghost, rather we should help this ghost in identifying the factors which are haunting him, like his own insecurities, then identifying to regulate the emotions and to seek support. And definitely abuse is never a choice, not even a single slap, एक थप्पड़ भी नहीं मार सकता कोई आपको. So abuse is not a choice and not a way to control. And mothers play a very important role. They should teach their children, their sons, and raise their sons right. And also fathers who have this power in the house and are aggressive, they are making their children aggressive by the learning behavior. And also the trust issues developed, insecure attachment styles develop. So it's very important to raise our men right and to raise our children right way by teaching them emotional regulation, and also by teaching them that respect is important, being humble is important, kindness is important. So these are few things which can be taught, and abuse can be controlled, because abuse is not at all an excuse. And definitely it is punishable and it should be punishable, That also Indian government and judiciary should learn. Thank you.
Emotional regulation and understanding the subject called emotional intelligence is a very interesting subject. And I believe this should be taught to many teachers and students and parents so they can handle emotional changes, upheavals, and the shocks that could happen due to certain conditions and changes that happen. I'd like to thank you, Dr. Aninda Sidhana, for coming on this episode and helping us explore and find out why gender-based violence and domestic abuse happens. Thank you.